What's up, Tanner J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tanner J-Man Show, and on behalf of myself and my co-host Josh the J-Man Munt, we appreciate you listening to our podcast. If you're a new listener to our podcast, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts at. If that happens to be on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review, as that helps us out a bunch. Watch our podcast live every Monday night from 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the ISC Sports Network, and make sure to give us a like on Facebook and a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy some hot takes, topics, picks, and more on a brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show.
We are back with another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. I hope you bought some stock in Twitter because Elon Musk is taking over.
Yeah, what, $44 billion he bought it for?
It's a lot of money. A lot of money. Our friend, our CPA friend Andrew was explaining it to us, and I still don't completely understand what's going on.
No, it's, Musk has made it clear he's been interested in about for 4 or 5 years in buying Twitter.
Long time. Yeah.
Finally got the chance to, and it looked like he jumped on it.
That's right. We got a big episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. It's one of our favorite events of the year this weekend, the NFL Draft. Cover that. We'll cover some baseball. Got some more NIL talk. Anything else? Golf?
No, the tournament over the weekend was the Zurich Classic, which was it's the only event on the PGA Tour. It's a team event where two guys play. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay won. So two of the better players in it teamed and won. So
what's the next biggest tournament coming up?
Well, we'll have the PGA Championship here in mid-May. And there was some news about that today. Phil Mickelson officially put his name in to defend the championship. So haven't seen Phil yet. Haven't seen Phil yet play. But Phil also put his name to get a release from the PGA Tour to play in the Saudi League event.
Really?
Supposedly 15 guys in the world top 100, I believe, put their name in. The Saudi League's not releasing the full participants till May 27th.
So in the Saudi League, are they going to be playing over in Saudi Arabia?
I don't think this tournament is necessarily. Greg Norman's the head of it. Greg Norman, the golf legend's the head of it. This tournament, I was reading, it's a 54-hole tournament instead of 72 holes, no cuts, and there's up to $20 million purse. So it's a lot of money. You
think it's going to last? Like it has like an XFL sort of feel to it.
Right, right. I think it's more appealing to some of the European players that don't play over here as much.
Sure.
Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, guys like that. Some of the older European guys, Ian Poulter, I think it appealed to them. But we'll see. I just thought it was interesting today when they said they have 15 out of the world's top 100 players interested in playing in it. So,
be interesting to see what 15 players they are. Are they 75 through 100 or any of the top 10 guys?
It was just interesting on the same day that he puts his name in for the PGA Championship. Phil puts his name in to try to play in that too. So that's coming up in that event's in June, I believe.
What's like the motivation to leave the PGA?
Well, I know like in Mickelson's case, and when he came out and spoke out about some things which he probably shouldn't have done. That's why he's kind of taking a back seat. And I honestly think the PGA Tour maybe suspended him, but they're not letting that be public knowledge, and he's just kind of taking a brief hiatus from the game. But the PGA does cap a few things. I'm kind of blanking off the top of my head, but they kind of control what a player can and can't do. And a lot of players don't like that.
Sure.
So I don't know. I still think they make plenty of money. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You got some birdie bogey for me tonight?
I do. Let me bring it up here on the cell phone. It's NBA related.
Right.
I gotta think through how I'm gonna word this without giving anything away. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, he had 32 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 assists yesterday. he now moves third on the all-time list of 30-point, 10-rebound, 5-assist playoff games. He's third behind Larry Bird and LeBron James. Who are the two players he passed yesterday?
He passed.
So yesterday,
Okay.
and I'll even give you the number.
Right.
I'll give you the number. LeBron has 48 of these games.
It's a lot.
Larry had 19. Giannis now has 12. These other two guys have 11.
30 points, 10 rebounds,
5 assists in a playoff game since the merger.
Which was when?
76-77.
Okay, so that takes out my Wilt Chamberlain guess. That's a good one. It's a good one, Birdie Bogey.
Get one, I'll give you a par. Get two, Birdie.
If I can get a par this week.
Yep.
Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC for fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your veggies!
And before we dive too deep into this episode, I need to apologize to a few people that were watching on Facebook, giving us questions and comments last week, and neither of us were on our Facebook page, so we didn't see those. I saw them afterwards, but please continue to do that. I'm going to be monitoring the Facebook page tonight, so if you have a question or comment, just post it on there, and we'll try our best to get to it. So, plenty of NFL talk, mock draft, but let's save that a little bit later for the show. I'll let you choose MLB or NIL talk.
Let's talk some NIL first.
No, let's do it.
I know you have some thoughts on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're a few weeks into this now. The first off season with NIL, I should say. And this weekend, it actually affected my team, Purdue Boilermakers, as they were one of the final three teams for Nigel Pack's services. He's the transfer guard from Kansas State, and Purdue's his first visit. So when a guy visits a school first, you got to think they're first and foremost in his mind when he's thinking, you know.
My thoughts are you always want that last visit.
You do. Well, he was adding schools as he went. First it was Purdue and Miami, and then it was Ohio State. It sounded like and I just follow Purdue sources. I mean, he was so close to committing on the visit, pretty much told Matt Painter and players that he was coming. But then he goes and visits Miami. Of course, he knew the NIL presence was going to be strong there, as was Ohio State. And then up towards the last few days, rumors start swirling that Ohio State was going to get him for $250,000. Lo and behold, Miami ends up giving his services for $400,000 each year for the next 2 years, plus a new car. That's some cash.
Yeah, so that's like a contract.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever seen like a 2-year deal like that. I don't know how that works. I don't know if the school can't legally like sign him to that, can they?
No, that is through the Life Wallet is the company that has him signed to it. It's through them.
It's weird. That's
and
so
my
strange.
question is, okay, what if he goes to the NBA after this next season?
Yeah,
is that second year void? What if he leaves the school, say Jim Larinaga got fired or something, and he wants to leave? I mean, I don't know how all that works.
Yeah, I don't think the schools really know either how that works. I assume the second year would just be void. That would make sense. But yeah, to see a 2-year sort of commitment like that doesn't happen. Because, I mean, he scored 17 points a game at Kansas State. He goes and tears up Miami. Maybe he will be looking to jump to the NBA. Now, the allure of Miami certainly, I'm sure, played a role, as well as the cash did as well.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's going to be playing in front of 6,000 people a night. Down there instead of a packed Mackey Arena or a 3/4 full Value City Arena.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not blaming him at all. I mean, he got the American. You got the American dream. $800,000 in 2 years. His life's set for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming him at all. I mean, this stems back to the NCAA. This has been going on for years. They could have got ahead of this years ago, put some parameters on it, got the players, some reimbursement, some bounce back cash from schools using their image for billboards, using their jersey number for sales, things like that. And they didn't do it. They fought it every step of the way until the government stepped in. And now we're in this spot where the money's already way higher than I ever thought it would be, especially this early.
And yes, as you said, this was supposed to be name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
They would be able to sell jerseys, sell autographs, whatever you wanted to do.
I was on board with that.
Absolutely. And it's turned into a little bit of a circus in a sense. There's endorsement deals, which, sure, I mean, it was bound to happen eventually. This kind of stuff was happening. And it was happening behind the scenes anyways, beforehand. But yeah, I mean, 3 years from now, we'll look back and maybe even think like, man, I can't believe guys were doing that and getting away with it. No, and as you said, it's the first off season where we're seeing this, and it's absolutely crazy. I mean, we're seeing guys get $1 million. We see all sorts of stuff. That
guy from Kentucky got 2.
Yeah, and that's happening. And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like Big Ten schools are really doing it yet.
I think, Purdue came out because there was such an outrage from their fan base over this. Purdue came out, they're working on trying to get a collective going, but they're behind a lot of other schools. The Miamis and other schools have been doing this a while. They're already in front of it.
Yep.
I mean, Miami's not only doing it in basketball, they're doing it in women's basketball, they're doing it in football. I mean, they got some donors down there that are just huge. And that's my fear is hopefully this all evens out over the next few years, because if not, there's going to be some good programs that get left in the dust. And, I mean, it could become like college football where we look before the season starts, here's 6 to 8 teams that have a chance to win and everybody else is out. And I don't want it to be, a bidding war. Who can outbid the other person? I mean, that's not recruiting. That's not free agency.
And that's almost what the transfer portal has allowed anyway. It's just free agency. And then you add this money to it, and it just takes it to a whole new level. Say a guy like Kofi Coburn, he jumps to the NBA.
Right.
He can't come back now because he put his name in. This is his 3rd time doing it. They were thinking that they could get him in that $500,000 to $1 million range.
Sure.
That was kind of where they thought. And a 2-way contract in the NBA is worth, I think, 500 or so thousand now. And he wanted to bet on himself. He's always wanted to play professional basketball. Good. I'm glad he did it. That shows character to do that instead of just coming back for a money sort of thing,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, arguably the best player in college basketball, one of the best players in college basketball. He's not getting that $2 million like a Kentucky guy got, or, it could hurt schools like in Illinois or Purdue, Indiana. I mean, their fan base or alumni base is huge, but it's all about who wants to shell out the cash.
I think a school like Indiana could benefit from this. They got crazy enough fans.
Yep.
And they got a huge donor if he wants to get involved, but it would be a little conflict of interest in Mark Cuban.
Yes, Mark Cuban.
But he could always maybe put some money towards a charity and not know exactly where it's going or something.
Yep.
That's what right now it's who's got the donors that are willing to put the cash on the table. A school like Miami, Florida does. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I just hope it doesn't ruin college basketball. And maybe I'm just reacting to an outlier from over the weekend, but I just look at my crystal ball. I'm like, I don't like where this is heading.
Yeah, which we said that about the transfer portal too.
True.
And now we're used to it in a sense. Still not a huge fan of it because you could have a great recruiting class come in. You're like, all right, we're in 2 years, we're going to be really good. And then they're all gone by the time that 2-year mark hits.
Right.
So it is what it is. Again, we're going to have to get used to it, and we'll find a new normal with it. And I'm sure schools will as well. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't like the way it's already heading.
Well, and coaches are going to have to figure out the numbers of scholarships with COVID rules already been tough enough to figure out. Now with the NIL and the transfer portal as it is going to be hard with scholarship numbers, and how they're going to keep these locker rooms intact. It's going to be fascinating. I mean, say my dad brought up a great point over the weekend. Say Purdue did have the money and gave Nigel Pack $450,000 or $400,000, whatever. Why wouldn't Zach Edey come in and be like, okay, hey, now I've been here 2 years, busting my butt. I'm second team All Big Ten. He's getting paid that. I want 500.
Yep. I mean, there's probably going to be some rifts, absolutely, in locker rooms of guys who are getting paid more than others, and they don't think it's going to create a culture issue.
Yep.
For sure. That's an interesting point that I didn't even think about.
And I laughed that so many fans are on the coaches. The coaches have nothing to do with this. I'm sure they want their school to be involved. This is on the athletic department and all those people and donors. It really just comes down to the donors getting things lined. And man, I don't know. I'm a believer that part of the reason Jay Wright retired last week was because of the NIL.
Yeah, he said he didn't have that fire he used to have, which could easily play a role because they went to a Final Four this year.
Yeah.
Could easily have played a role in his leaving. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see more coaches do this.
Yeah.
Just be like, it's not worth the headache. I didn't get into being a college basketball coach to worry about money deals. I came in here to coach, and it's like majority of their job now is like, okay, we got to try to get money for these guys. I don't know how we're going to do it, but so yeah, I think coaches will be worn down by it. I think they already are.
And schools aren't supposed to use it as a recruiting tactic or a tactic to get players back. Please, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, Indiana, Race Thompson's getting six figures. He's getting $100,000. Trace Jackson Davis reported deal from somebody out there is $350. So, I mean,
they're finding ways around it.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame's athletic director, Jack Swarbrick, is that his name?
Swarbrick.
He's thinking that this could, it honestly could facilitate it quicker, but he's thinking the NCAA will no longer be a thing within the next 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Which it's already starting to go away. I mean, they're corrupt. Teams are just joining together and forming these super conferences. And I think that's the way it's trending.
Yeah. And that'll be bye-bye NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Which is sad. They'll find other ways to have a national championship tournament in a sense, but yeah, that could be just kissing goodbye.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of scary really to look at it as a college sports fan. And I think the NILs will have more of an impact on basketball than it will football.
Yeah.
Because football, and we both love college football, but I think we're in agreement. You can look before the season and pick 6 to 8 teams that legitimately have a chance to the national championship and the rest don't. And that's not going to change with NIL.
And in basketball, the players are like visible. You don't really see the players. I mean, you see the quarterback, you see the good receiver, you see the good defensive end or whatever.
Right.
Basketball players are so much more marketable than football players are. Yet we see these quarterbacks get $5 million in the NIL, which is insane. Yeah. Could you imagine? I've said this before: being 18 years old and having $5 million at your disposal.
I wouldn't have made some wise choices. That's for sure.
No, I wouldn't have stayed in school.
yeah. That's another thing too. I'm glad you brought that up. Why? So a lot of these players getting paid so much money. What's the motivation for them to? I mean, they better still keep their grades up.
Yeah.
They got to keep their grades up.
You can hire someone to go to class for you, I guess. You have that kind of money, but
it's going to be interesting.
They better stay eligible for sure.
It's going to be interesting. I just wish the NCAA needs to set a salary cap of some sort or something on it before it gets out of hand. But I mean, let's look at a smaller basketball only conference like the Big East. They could get just smashed.
Yeah.
In something like this.
Yeah. How's even like a UConn able to facilitate and get huge donors to give them money? I mean, their football program's trash, which that might help them a little bit. And because UConn's won a bunch of championships here within the past 20 years or so. But a school like Butler,
how
are they going to compete? Cincinnati,
right?
Cincinnati in the Big East.
No,
AAC.
Yeah.
So
used to be Big East. Back in the day.
It's an interesting time in college sports.
It is. It's very interesting. And I was chuckling to myself before I got on the air. Purdue had a visitor over the weekend, Tyrese Hunter. freshman guard from Iowa State that's
Mhm.
transferring. He cut his final list down to final 6. I looked at the schools like Purdue's not getting them, especially with the NIL. It's Texas, Kansas, Gonzaga, Louisville, Purdue, and
North Carolina on there, because I've heard them a bunch for him, but
I don't think it was them. I got it here on my phone. Tennessee, who just got a good guard from Indiana State. So
yes, saw that.
It's like, yeah, unless Purdue could give them something, there's no way. There's no way with those other schools.
And I said this last week, I think, but Brad Underwood has said, if the first thing a potential recruit mentions is the NIL, I will hang up on them.
Yeah. And I hope some coaches stay true to their colors because, I could see, and Jay Wright was one of the good ones. He was one of the ones that did it the right way, no pun intended. And I can't blame the guy for getting out if that was one of the main reasons why he wanted out.
Yeah.
And then in football, I know I said I don't think it will affect football as much as basketball, but you do have schools like Oklahoma where Barry Switzer came out and he's going to make sure each player on their roster gets paid at least $40,000.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Each player on the roster gets paid at least $40,000.
Like these kids are already getting, the ones on scholarship, free school at great universities, and then they're going to get a huge lump sum of money on top of it.
And again, we're all on board with them being able to make money off their name, image, and likeness.
But this is just
guys signing a two-year contract to go play college basketball somewhere.
And gets a new car.
That doesn't bode well.
And I bet you it's no Honda Civic or anything. I mean, no.
It's
people.
Gonna be
Honda
nice,
Civics are good vehicles, but I mean, it's going to be some flashy,
nice car.
Yeah,
which is probably an $80,000 car or something like that. So you add that on top of the $800,000 he's getting over the next 2 years.
I just hope over the next few years that NIL doesn't get to where like you and I have to lower our expectations on our team so much that it just takes some of the fun away from it.
Yeah. My love of college football has dwindled significantly the past couple years just because you know who the same 6 or 8 teams are going to be there.
Yep.
What are the other schools doing?
They're
just trying to win as many games as possible, I guess.
Yep.
It's completely taken away the fun of bowl season anymore for me. So it is what it is.
I wonder if we'll see bowls start getting into the NIL. Say, I don't know, Illinois is playing in the
Illinois Bowl.
I'm trying to think of a sponsor of a bowl. They change so often. They're playing in the Little Caesars Bowl. I don't even know if that's a bowl anymore. And Illinois has a stud that looks like it's going to be a first or second round pick. Doesn't want to play in the bowl game, but Little Caesars comes out and says, "We'll pay you $100,000 to play in the game or whatever it might be." Yeah. I don't know.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I'm sure that will happen eventually.
Yeah. And I think we'll get to the point where players of like Nick Bosa's status a few years ago. Remember he got hurt and Ohio State already had a loss, but he just didn't come back. Say a school's 2-6 or something. Players, I'm not playing the next 4 games. I'm sitting out.
Yeah.
I think that time's coming soon.
Absolutely. I mean, Jamar Chase took the entire college football season off in 2020.
True.
Then he goes out and puts up insane numbers in the NFL, so it worked out for him. But I wonder if because of the NIL, guys will be like, okay, I'm going to play college football my junior year now instead of just training for the NFL draft because I could make $1 million this year and then hopefully not get hurt. But
we will see. It's going to be a topic I think we'll be talking about on this podcast for a while.
Definitely.
So, but I'm done talking about it now. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted.
You want to talk some baseball here?
Yeah.
Looking around the league, the best division in baseball is the National League West. We got the Dodgers at 11-4, the Giants at 11-5, the Rockies at 10-5, and the Padres at 10-7. That is by far the best of it. The AL East pretty good as well. I think one of those teams don't belong, and I think we'll be sitting here in September and be like, how are the Rockies 5 games over 500 at one point?
Their fans are loving it right now. They're one
Sure.
of 4 teams in the league, I believe, maybe 5 that haven't lost a series yet. They already have as many road wins to date as they did last year on May 20th.
I remember it was the Diamondbacks that lost like 26 road games in a row. I remember that, but Rockies didn't do very well either.
I mean, it's been interesting. Some of the guys stepping up for them. CJ Crone, and some other names. And then you got Chris Bryant. He's hitting it well, but he still doesn't have a home run. If you would have told me he'd played this many games out to Coors and wouldn't have a home run, what are you on? But here we are.
Yeah, Connor Joe has had a good start to the year for him. Randall Grichuk as well has been pretty good, and they're pitching mediocrely, which that's all you can really ask for there in Colorado. That one year, was it 2018? They pitched really well, and that was the reason why they ended up making the postseason.
You're right. Yeah,
it was their pitching staff.
Well, they gave Kyle Freeland a pretty big deal last week, wrapped him up. But besides that, they gave him I think it was like $65 million deal, maybe.
Whoa,
that's off the top of my head. No, but if anybody decent, they do whatever they can to keep him out there on the mound.
Yeah, Kyle Freeland had a really good year in 2018, but since then his ERA is over 5.
Yeah, and they locked him up for a while. So I guess when in Rockies history they can't keep pitchers there very long. So,
what school did he go to, T-Dog?
Freeland.
Yeah,
he's originally a Denver native.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he went to college though.
Evansville.
Oh my God, I should have known that, but I didn't.
That's weird for a guy from Denver to go to Evansville to play baseball.
He just likes wearing purple.
I guess. As far as the Cubs go, they had their worst week of the year, went 2-5. What
a weird weekend for them.
They outscored the Pirates by 16 runs over the weekend, and they lost 3-4.
That's insane. It's like one of those you have to believe it or have to see it to believe it stats.
They scored 21 runs on Saturday. It was the 3rd largest shutout in the modern era, 21-0 since 1900. They have stretches where the offense looks great, and then stretches where they can't buy a run. For the most part, though, their lineup's been hitting outside of Nick Madrigal. You see all these guys, their OPS plus are all well above league average, except Frank Schwindel. His is a little below. We're getting good contributions from Ian Happy's hitting 333, 897 OPS. Seiya Suzuki's still been one of the better players in the National League so far. OPS over 1,100, almost 1,200. He's kind of slowed down a little bit. He's super patient, which is kind of annoying. Because he's seeing first pitch strikes right away because he's just not swinging at him. And then he gets behind 1-2, 0-2, and he looks at a pitch right down the middle because he's just not expecting a fastball there, which that's part of the adjustment as well. I'm not sure how many pitchers in Japan, obviously not many had the kind of stuff he has seen on a regular basis here in Major League Baseball, but also the way they approach hitters as well. So there's going to be an adjustment period, but he's still producing, hitting 354 with a 492 on base percentage, a 688 slugging percentage. So the offense has been okay. They're leading the National League in batting average and on base percentage, and they're second in slugging percentage. So I guess it's been better than okay. But again, it was kind of skewed by their 21-run outburst on Saturday. Starting pitching's been pretty bad. Justin Steele had a terrible outing yesterday. Marcus Stroman's had a couple bad ones. Mark Leiter Jr., who is kind of filling in for Alec Mills and Wade Miley right now, he's been pretty terrible. Drew Smiley's been good for him. Bullpen's been fantastic. The corpse of David Robertson, as I like to call him, has been awesome. Only giving up 1 hit in 7 1/3 innings this year. Michael Gavins as well has only given up 1 run in 7 innings. Rowan Wick's been good. So it's already getting to the point of the season. I know they're only 7-9, but you look at their schedule, and I'm not sure They win another game till May 13th, believe it or
Game?
not. Yeah.
Oh, come on now. They'll win a game. Maybe not a series, but they'll win a game.
They might win a game.
They'll win a game.
They have at Atlanta, at Milwaukee, the White Sox, who are struggling, for 2 at home. And
what have they lost 7 straight?
7 in a row, yeah. And then they have 3 against the Dodgers. So
tough stretch.
Tough stretch already for a team that's not very good to begin with. And I think here in the next few weeks, we'll already be talking about, all right, what can we get at the trade deadline for some of these veterans like David Robertson and Michael Givens and Rafael Ortega, and maybe even a Wilson Contreras could be dealt. But yeah, Cubs aren't very good. I've had more fun watching them this year than I have the past probably 3 or 4 years, just because I don't have any expectations, which has made it so much easier to stomach when they're getting beat 3-4 by a terrible Pirates team. But there's not a worse team in Major League Baseball than the Cincinnati Reds, who find themselves—
they're just trash.
7 games out already after 16 games.
Yeah, they're done.
They're the worst team in the league. They're 3-13. They had lost, was it 11 in a row, 12 in a row?
After their,
I think it was 11 in a row after a pretty good opening series against the defending champs, the Braves, where I think they took
2 or 3, right?
No. 2-4, so they split.
Okay.
But yeah, Reds are bad. As I said, the NL West has been really good so far. The Seattle Mariners are winning the AL West, which that is my favorite team out there. I think
good for my bold predictions.
They are a fun group to watch. Their offense is good, leading the American League in on-base percentage, 4th in slugging. They're hitting homers. They're not striking out much. J.P. Crawford has been fantastic at short for them. And they're pitching really well. They have the 2nd best ERA in the American League, a 2.96 ERA as a team. Starting pitching has been great. Robbie Ray, the defending AL Cy Young, has been really good, bolstering their pitching staff there this year. So if all continues to go well for the Mariners, I think we'll see them in the playoffs for the first time in 21 years.
It'll be a bold prediction right for me, and it'll be a good sign about my Sonics coming back. I don't know why,
right.
But it will be. It will be. Right. I don't know why.
It feels like there is a direct correlation between the Mariners doing well and the Sonics coming back.
It does. Yep.
Is that the longest playoff drought in professional sports?
Yeah.
2001?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because the Browns made it
2 years ago
now. Bills have made it obviously a couple times, but I'm rooting for the Mariners out there. The Angels are actually playing pretty well, 9-7. Texas Rangers are bad. As we said, the White Sox have a ton of injury issues. They've lost 7 in a row. Eloy Jimenez tears his hamstring. He's going to be out a few months. Lance Lynn's been out a while.
Yeah, I know. He's on our fantasy team.
Yeah. Yeah. They've really struggled, but the AL Central is terrible. The leader in that division right now is sitting at 8-8, and that's the Minnesota Twins. So once the White Sox get back and healthy, I think they'll probably run away with the division, because it's just not a very good division to begin with. Then the American League East, the Yankees and Blue Jays are tied at 10-6.
Bad week for the Yankees this week.
They intentionally walked Miguel Cabrera at home in his final at bat of their series, and he was not able to get his 3,000th hit against them, which does not surprise me with Aaron Boone. He just takes the joy out of everything, it seems like.
Yeah, the Aaron Boone era has been really weird.
It's been strange, and I think it's World Series or bust this year for Aaron Boone.
And then the fans are idiots and throw trash at the Guardians on Saturday. That wasn't a good look.
Yeah, they're I think the Yankees shtick, it ran old a long time ago, but it's definitely getting even worse. And now there's this whole issue with this letter, a sealed letter from 2017 that's on signs stealing. The Yankees say it will cause significant and irreparable reputational harm. MLB says it could cause potential embarrassment. I don't know why they're protecting the Yankees. The Yankees are going to be embarrassed regardless. And
They haven't won crap since 2009.
Yeah, haven't done anything. So
it didn't help them. Whatever they did really didn't help them that
Yeah.
much. I mean, yeah, they got to the ALCS that year, but
yeah. It's funny because Carlos Beltran went from the Yankees to the Astros, and he's kind of the one that brought the sign stealing to the Astros, and he told them, man, you guys are behind the times. So the Yankees must have been doing it pretty good as well, which I think every team had some sort of part in it. But and at least the Mets are already 4 games up. They are 12-5. Scherzer's been a Cy Young performer already, and Jacob deGrom still hasn't even pitched. So it's
they're pretty good. I hate to say it, they're pretty good.
Very early in the baseball season to really even be checking the standings, but not a whole lot of surprises there for the most part.
Nope.
I think that's all I really have baseball wise.
All right, you want to get educated a little bit today
do it.
on April 25th. On this day in 1876, the Chicago Cubs' first National League game, they played in their first National League game. They beat Louisville 4-0. That was the first NL shutout. On this day in 1901, Irv Beck hit the American League's first home run.
What's the name?
Irv Beck.
Irv.
E-R-V-E. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see here. On this day in 1950, Chuck Cooper became the first African-American to be drafted into the NBA. Boston Celtics drafted him. On this day, 1952, who won the 6th NBA championship?
52?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Minneapolis Lakers.
You're right.
Really?
Minneapolis Lakers beat the New York Knicks 4-3.
Nice.
What a pull.
That's a birdie.
On this day in 1965, who won the 19th NBA championship?
65, I'm going to go with the Celtics.
Man, you're on fire.
Yeah, that was an easier one.
Celtics beat the Lakers 4-1. On this day in 1974, the NFL moved the goalposts and adopted the sudden death playoff. On this day in 1978, the Philly Fanatic made its first appearance, one of the more popular and most recognizable mascots in sports.
I am completely anti-mascot.
I know you are, and I like mascots. So
mascots do not enhance the game for me at all. If anything,
they're not supposed to for you.
Take away. Even when I was a kid,
kids.
I'd be 6 years old and I'd be like, I'm too old for that.
They're for the kids.
That doesn't make me laugh. I want to watch baseball.
Well, you're a mature individual, J-Man.
Right.
Who was the number 1 NFL draft pick on this day in 1993?
93?
Yes.
Was that Todd Maranovich?
No, I think he was a year prior, maybe, or maybe a year after. But that was Drew Bledsoe to the New England Patriots. Where'd he go to school?
Washington State.
You got it. On this day, 1997, a guy named Ken Griffey Jr. hit his 250th career home run for the Seattle Mariners.
The steroid guy.
Hamstrings. On this day in 2009, who was the number 1 overall NFL draft pick?
2009, was that Sam Bradford?
No, he was a year later.
Fiddlesticks. 2009. Matt Stafford?
Matt Stafford to the Detroit Lions. On this day in 2013, who was the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft?
I'm pretty sure that was Eric Fisher.
That was Eric Fisher, offensive tackle from Central Michigan, taken number 1 by the Kansas City Chiefs. And on this day, just a couple years ago in 2019, who was the number 1 overall draft pick in the NFL draft?
2019. Was that Kyler Murray?
That was Kyler Murray, number 1 to the Arizona Cardinals out of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's put out some guys.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall picks.
Yes, they have. And that's going to do it for the On This Day segment, which is brought to you by Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated custom woodcraft shop based out of North Carolina with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs to fit your needs. From signs to growth charts, their custom pieces make a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. To see some of their recently completed projects, visit @Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram or give their Facebook page a like. And for orders, contact them at mooneywoodcrafts@gmail.com. Just before we went live on the air, Moody Woodcrafts on Instagram put up their latest project. It was a Butler Bulldog sign.
Cool.
Very, very cool and well done by Thad. So go check out his work. Put in a custom order.
Yes, sir. NFL draft time, which brings me to my word association. Actually, I'm going to do it here first before you get into the mock draft and all that. I took in a draft bust from about every year, not the previous couple years just because it's too early to tell, but starting with, I don't even know what year this was, Jordan Love.
Jordan Love would have been
2019?
19 or 18.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't have high hopes for him as a Packer going forward. I don't know why they just don't get rid of him.
That was an asinine draft pick.
Yeah, it made the whole division with them and Rodgers start, a crack in the foundation, and they didn't talk it over with them, and he didn't look good. Jordan Love didn't look good in a few games he appeared in last year, but now you sign Rodgers to a 4-year deal. Why keep the kid? Let him go somewhere else.
It was an absolutely worthless draft pick. Rodgers wanted a wide receiver so bad, and they took a quarterback. Made no sense. Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes, huge year for him this year. It's make or break. He shows glimpses. I mean, he's very athletic. He's good at scrambling around, but turns the ball over a lot, fumbles a lot. So it's make or break year for him. And unfortunately, I don't think the Giants are going to be very good. So I think he'll be on a new team next year.
I agree. Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Well, right now, Carolina's saying he's their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know one of those Jet quarterbacks that just hadn't panned out. Yeah. I mean, I thought he was good at USC, but so many more quarterbacks than not don't pan out.
John Ross.
Speed. I mean, that was it. He just unbelievable speed, but has not been good at all.
No, he's been terrible. I don't even think he has 1,000 yards receiving in his career.
I don't think he does either.
You're going to like this one. Paxton Lynch.
J-Man was witness. I was very excited in 2016 when the Broncos took him out of Memphis. Yeah. Awful. 1-3 career record as a starter. 2 years in the league with the Broncos at least. Then floated around with the Seahawks and the Steelers as third string. Now he's in the USFL and he's not doing well there either. His football IQ is very, very low.
Very low. Evident by his Wonderlic score.
18.
Yeah. Kevin White.
Made of glass. Guy just couldn't stay healthy for the Bears. The Bear fans were so excited when they drafted him. So excited for him every year. Oh, this year Kevin White's going to stay healthy and break out. And he just kept breaking.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. What was he, the 4th overall pick, I think? And
he was like 7th.
Was he? Might have been.
Either way, he was top 10 pick.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football. He's throwing touchdowns to Terrell Owens now. I don't even know what that football league's called, but
it's like a fan-controlled league, isn't it?
Fan-controlled league. You're right.
I don't know what that means. Like,
I don't either.
Fans call the plays like Madden or what?
No idea. I need to look into it. Maybe we should look into it and have an answer next week. But Johnny Football, one of the most popular college football players of all time, definitely was getting paid NIL style before there was NIL.
Definitely.
And he did not last long.
Yep. EJ Manuel.
I didn't think he was that good at Florida State, to be honest.
No, he wasn't.
That was an awful quarterback class. Like those draft years, like 3 years in a row, just kind of mix in together in my memory. Him and Ponder and Jake Locker, some of those guys, just not good.
Yeah, there were a couple I could have chosen, but for whatever reason, I chose EJ Manuel. Maybe the greatest running back bust of all time, Trent Richardson.
Yeah. Oh, the Colts thought they got a steal in that trade, didn't they?
Yeah.
Backfired. Yeah, he just did not pan out. Alabama running backs usually do, and he was just, I don't know, just had a decent rookie year, and then after that, it was nothing.
Yeah, Bama running backs have had a lot of success here. Bama everything has had a lot of success in the NFL, but especially
quarterbacks, Namath, but.
And he was terrible, too.
I know. Besides him, not really.
Yeah, maybe we can see Mac Jones or maybe Tua.
I was going to say, you're hoping Tua.
That's about it. Yeah. Christian Ponder.
Yeah, another one at Florida. I mean, he bounced around kind of as a journeyman backup, but geez, the Vikings, that was bad.
Yeah,
that was a real bad pick.
His wife's more famous than he is now.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow.
Oh, Timmy. I mean, what a frustrating but yet fun year as a Bronco fan 2011 was. You go 8-8, and then you win a playoff game over the Steelers. It's just like you knew the Broncos were going to be terrible for 3 quarters, and then there was like 2 months where they were just going to pull out magic in the fourth quarter. Yeah. It was just like it was almost like God was wanting the Broncos to win. It was just so weird. I didn't know how else to explain it. Yeah. Then they got shellacked in Foxborough, and his last NFL touchdown was to Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace, in overtime against the Steelers.
Darius Hayward-Bay.
Al Davis loved himself some speed, didn't he?
He did.
Took Hayward-Bay over Crabtree. And, I got a philosophy, going back to the Raiders had the number 2 overall pick, and I think it was the 2003 draft.
Robert Gallery.
Took Robert Gallery, who was it was like the first draft pick I can remember the term can't miss being around.
Yeah.
And he just didn't pan out. And ever since then, I think the Raiders said, we're throwing that can't miss philosophy out the window. We're just going to go for speed and random things. And
I think he was like a projected like 2nd round pick or something like
7th overall.
It took him 7th overall.
Yep.
Felix Jones.
Man, how about that Arkansas backfield? Yeah. Felix Jones, Darren McFadden, and Peyton Hillis.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah, he had the worst of NFL career out of 3, I guess. I would say Peyton Hillis had a better career than he did.
Absolutely. I think Peyton Hillis had more rushing yards his one big year than Felix did.
And he got a Madden cover out of it.
Brady Quinn.
Another guy, everybody said he was going to be in the NFL for 12 to 15 years. He had all the intangibles. He had the pretty boy quarterback look. Yeah, he didn't get helped drafted by the Browns, but then he couldn't even get starting job in Denver when he was competing with Kyle Orton and Tim Tebow and just a lot of things. Just didn't go his way.
Very upset when the Dolphins took Ted Ginn Jr. over Brady Quinn. I wanted Brady Quinn so bad. Glad they didn't take him. Ted Ginn still somehow playing too.
Brady Quinn and then Notre Dame, Jimmy Clausen. They just had some quarterbacks that got the national exposure and didn't pan out at all.
Yeah. Deshaun Kaiser was another one. He just kind of fizzled out. Last one here, Matty Leinart.
I never thought Leinart was going to be that great of a pro. I don't know why. I'm not a big left-handed quarterback fan.
Me either.
But gosh, he was a stud at USC, and those USC teams were so fun to watch. That was one the Cardinals would like back.
The one game I really remember Matt Leinart playing was that game when the Bears came back from like 24-0 down or
on Monday Night Football.
Down.
Yep.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Denny Green.
Rest in peace, Dennis Green. I'll never forget Matt Leinart getting just smoked from behind and fumbling, and Bears picking it up and running it for a touchdown.
Urlacher scored, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it gave him the lead. That's like the Matt Leinart lasting memory I have of him in the NFL.
Yeah, he was not good.
Yep.
It was not good. So, well, good list. I like that. Brought up a lot of guys I hadn't thought of in a while. Yeah. So that's going to do it for the Word Association segment, which is brought to you by Proforma 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, they have over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call today at 574-210-3815. And why don't you let everybody know who this episode is brought to by, J-Man?
This episode is brought to you by The Damn Landing, whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, handcrafted something. Oh,
tenderloin.
Man. Tenderloin, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail. The Damn Landing is the place to be. The Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou, focused on freshness and quality. You can wash down their delicious food with one of their 16 beers on tap and a constant rotation of today's best microbrews, domestic flavors, taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou and their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boats or wheels, the Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. Yes. I did that for memory. It started off terribly, but I kind of got it there.
Yeah, pretty good. So some boats are in the water now.
I'm sure Saturday it was packed when it was 80 degrees.
I wasn't in town Saturday, so I'm not sure, but I saw a lot of Snapchats and Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But it's mock draft time. Tanner's mock draft 2.0, the final one. I only did 2 this year. I was a slacker. I didn't do 3. I got to admit that Denver Broncos not having a first-round pick, not having a top 10 pick, not having to worry about finding their starting quarterback kind of got me not so locked in on the draft this year. But I'm going to do my best. It is weird. No Dolphins in the first round, no Colts, no Bears. So
That's
a lot
crazy.
of the audience of this podcast maybe not as interested, but it's still going to be a fun draft. I'm still going to be locked in Thursday night in front of my TV, seeing where these players go. First pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Aiden Hutchinson, edge rusher from Michigan. He was my first overall pick in my last mock draft. No change there.
This will be the J-Man's book of prediction of the week. Sorry to cut you off there real quick.
That's all right.
But I agree with you. Aiden Hutchinson will go number one out of Michigan. He was a stud at Michigan. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watching. For life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watching@infb.com.
Number 2, the Detroit Lions. I got to change. I had Malik Willis in my last mock. I got them going defense now. Defensive end out of Georgia, Trayvon Walker. You'll see a lot of Georgia names on this mock draft.
Much like LSU winning the national championship a few years ago, you saw the most players ever drafted from one school. I think Georgia will come close to that this year.
And you might be like, Tanner, why is Detroit going to pass up quarterback? They got another first-round pick. Yeah. So, number 3, the Houston Texans. I have them getting my favorite named player in the draft, cornerback from Cincinnati, Sauce Gardner.
Sauce.
He allowed a 0.0 QBR against him last year in single coverage.
Insane.
Yeah, that'll get it done.
Did you see how he got his name? I saw it on Twitter earlier today.
I just figured he had a lot of sauce.
It was something like, so he got it when he was like 6 years old. And his like Pee-wee coach said something like, "Oh, you hit him with the A1 or something like that." Yeah, he got it when he was 6 years old. That's awesome. It was something like that. It was pretty funny, and it stuck all the way.
Yep. The Texans needed help in a lot of positions, so I think they start off in defensive backfield. Number 4, the New York Jets. I got them getting a really good defensive end from Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And a lot of these guys, I mean, I've seen Trayvon Walker mock number 1. I've seen Thibodeau mock number 1. I've seen Hutchinson mock number 1. So we really don't know who's going to be number 1 on Thursday, which is kind of refreshing compared to drafts from previous years. Number 5, I don't think this pick changed from my last mock. That's Evan Neal, offensive lineman from Alabama, going to the New York Giants. Number 6, the Carolina Panthers. They might be telling Sam Darnold he's going to be their starter, and maybe he will, even if they draft a quarterback. I do have them drafting a quarterback. I have them taking Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty, going first off the board. Who do you think will be the first quarterback taken?
It sounds like it's going to be Willis.
Yeah.
That's who I would take. I know you have like Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett. There's talks that it's for sure the Steelers are going to take a quarterback, which Pickett makes a ton of sense just from the fact that he went to Pittsburgh. Neither Pickett nor Coral. Is it Corral?
Corral. Matt Corral.
Scored high on the Wonderlic at all, which that's
Aaron Desmond Ritter either.
It's so dumb. The Wonderlic is. I don't even know what the point of it is, but I think one of those guys will go to Pittsburgh. New Orleans is another one that sounds like they're interested in taking a QB.
And I don't do any trades in my mock drafts. It just gets too confusing. So I know a lot of this is probably going to be busted by trades. Number 7, New York Giants on the clock again. I have them getting another offensive lineman. I've even seen this guy mocked going number 1 or number 2 overall. Lineman from NC State, Akeem Ekwonu, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. I'm not an expert when it comes to offensive linemen. So Number 8, Atlanta Falcons. They could be in the mix for a quarterback, but I have them going defensive end, Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. Number 9, Seattle Seahawks, another team that could be in the mix for quarterback. Probably should be, but I have them going defense, trying to get a new version of the Legion of Boom going. In my opinion, I like this guy more than Sauce Gardner, even though I just read that crazy stat about Sauce. That's Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU. See, he had some injury questions, but it looks like he's proved those wrong. Number 10, New York Jets. I got him getting some wide receiver help in Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from the Ohio State University.
I got a question for you before you go any farther. Will, what's his name? Debo Samuel from San Francisco be traded?
I don't think so.
NFL draft. I don't think so either. Jets are a team mentioned, though, so it's interesting you have them taking a wide receiver there.
They were mentioned for Tyreek Hill, too.
Mm-hmm.
So. Number 11, the Washington Commanders. I have them taking Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. I had that in my previous mock draft as well. Number 12, Minnesota Vikings. Another Georgia guy taking defensive tackle Jordan Davis. Houston Texans back on the clock at 13. I have them taking another wide receiver from The Ohio State University, Chris Olave. Speedster there. Number 14, Baltimore Ravens. I have them taking offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, Charles Cross. This is a heavy offensive line draft if you haven't picked up on that already. Number 15, this might be stretching it. Maybe this is just my boiler heart here, but I have the Philadelphia Eagles taking George Karlaftis, edge rusher from Purdue. I think he'll go in the first round, but that might be a little high.
I haven't seen a mock draft where he's not in the first round.
Kuiper had one. He was like early second round, but
even then, I mean, it's not that bad.
No. He's going to be there, so I hope he goes in the first round.
No.
I hate when guys like Geno Smith, remember that one year?
Have
that
to
was
wait,
pretty painful to watch.
Well, after learning a little about Geno Smith, I'm kind of glad it happened to him.
Right. Number 16, the New Orleans Saints. They have Jameis Winston, but I have them getting a quarterback of their future, Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. If this is the case, I think the Steelers probably move up ahead of them, but I don't have that.
Yeah.
Number 17, Los Angeles Chargers. They could keep stacking up their defense, but I have them getting some offensive line help for Justin Herbert. Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. Number 18, Philadelphia Eagles. I got them getting a target for Jalen Hurts and Drake London, wide receiver from University of Southern California.
I wonder if the Eagles could potentially take a QB as well.
Wouldn't shock
me. Especially with all the first-round picks they have.
Wouldn't shock me. Number 19, New York Saints on the clock again. Remember, these teams made a trade, and it got all confusing. I got them taking a defensive tackle from Georgia, Devontae Wyatt. Number 20, Pittsburgh Steelers. I got Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I have you taking a quarterback here, Matt Corral, Ole Miss, going 20, which is crazy because I've seen a lot of quarterbacks mocked in the first round, and none of them are really the same mix, depending on who you look. Number 21, New England Patriots. I have them taking the first linebacker of the draft, and Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. Number 22, Green Bay. Will they finally help Aaron Rodgers out and give him a wide receiver? I say yes, but probably a wide receiver a lot of people haven't heard of. Christian Watson, wide receiver from North Dakota State. He's 6'4", 6'5"-ish, so he's a bigger target. Put up really good numbers and impressed a lot of people at the Senior Bowls. So, Arizona Cardinals, number 23. I have them getting a cornerback from Washington and Trent McDuffie. I like that name. Number 24, Dallas Cowboys. They're usually pretty boring in the draft, it seems like. I have them getting a boring pick here, but a pick they need. Zion Johnson, guard from Boston College. Number 25, the Buffalo Bills. I have them getting some defensive back help here. Taking Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback from Clemson. First Clemson guy we've heard. Number 26, Tennessee Titans. Have them getting some help for Ryan Tannehill in the offensive line. They could be in the mix for a quarterback, potentially too.
Sure.
Kenyon Green, guard from Texas A&M. Number 27, Tampa Bay. They lost out on Antonio Brown. They get a speedster to help replace his loss, and that's Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State. I think I had him going to Kansas City in my last mock. 28, Green Bay Packers. I have them getting what I would think is going to be a steal in the draft. This guy would have been picked a lot higher if he didn't get hurt in his pro day. He tore his Achilles. That's David Ojabo from Michigan. He tore his Achilles in his pro day, so I think he falls. But I think he's still a first-round pick. 29, Kansas City Chiefs. I have them getting some defensive back help, also from Michigan. Daxton Hill, he's kind of a cornerback / safety. He can play either or. Then Kansas City's on the clock again. They lost Tyreek Hill, so I think nobody's going to replace Tyreek Hill speed-wise. But this guy, when he's healthy, I think he can be pretty good. Hope they don't get him, but Jamison Williams, wide receiver, Alabama, who tore his ACL in the college football playoff. 2 picks left. Number 31, that's Cincinnati Bengals, the reigning AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. Weird to say. Have them getting Burrow some more offensive line help. They upgraded in the free agency, but got them getting some more. Tyler Smith, offensive tackle from Tulsa. And last but not least, rounding out the first round, the Detroit Lions back on the clock. I kind of hinted at it earlier. I have them getting a cornerback, Sam Howell, cornerback from Carolina. So I don't have Ritter going in the first round.
Yeah, it's a weaker quarterback draft than usual.
But yet I have 4 going in the first round.
It's crazy.
So we'll see. That's how desperate teams are for quarterback.
We'll see if you're as good as you were in 2020 with
no way. There's no way. Even I don't think I'll be as good as I was last year. But maybe I'll surprise myself. I'll put the graphic up beforehand on Thursday so everybody can follow along and make fun of me.
Hit me with that birdie bogey.
Yes, Giannis became he's now third all time in the NBA playoffs with 30 point, 10 rebound, and 5 assist games. He's behind LeBron James and Larry Bird. Who are the 2 guys that he passed?
30, 10, and 5. I have a hard time not taking Michael Jordan.
Not Michael Jordan.
One more shot for a par. Magic.
Not Magic.
Shoot. Who is it?
So you're gonna get a bogey. Any more guesses? Gotta get a bogey, but
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook's one of the 2.
Shoot. I should have known that one. I don't know the second one.
Charles Barkley.
Really? I wouldn't have got Chuck at all. I'm mad at myself for not getting Russ. Shoot.
Ties us up again, a 4 over. Man, we are ripping it up.
We are terrible. Horrendous.
Not so hot when it comes to NBA.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll be back at it next Monday with another episode.